Steve Palmer here with Surf Skate Love, and in this video I'm going to teach you how to go from this to this. And from this to this. If you watched my how to pump on a surf skate video tutorial, and if you're a surfer or an advanced rider, you'll notice that there are a few things about the way that I teach in that video that aren't true to technical surf form. Now, personally, my take on technical surf form is if you're riding your board and you got a smile on your face, you're doing it right. Personally, as a non-surfer, I honestly don't really even care about technical surf form, except I have found that the better I get at it, the more efficient I am on my board and the more fun I have. And I have to give a quick shout out to 4 people who have helped me improve my surf skating form. First and foremost, Shane Lai, the best surf skating tutorial guy on YouTube. Love Shane. Subscribe to his channel. I'm going to give a link to his YouTube channel in my video description below. The second person is a YouTube subscriber of mine, Eduardo Amendola, who's out of New Zealand, who was kind enough to send me instructional videos pointing out exactly the ways that I could improve my form. And then lastly, I've gone through 2 surf skating coaching programs for surfers, the one with Chris Mills and the one with Cale Brock, and I've got a lot of value out of those. So I'm going to teach you what I've learned that will fix your surf skate pump, stance, and posture, and it's going to make you a more efficient surf skater, and it's going to make surf skating a whole lot more fun for you. So I'm joined in this video by Alex and Dave, who were our original models on our how to pump tutorial. So now I'm going to help them fix the mistakes that I taught them in that first tutorial. Okay guys, there are a lot of technical details that go into technical surf form. I'm going to spare you all those details, and I'm going to bottom line everything by teaching you one simple little principle that I want you to remember. And that principle is skate forward with your arms forward. Say it with me now. Skate forward with your arms forward. Now let me break that down for you detail by detail to show you what that means and how it's going to change your pump and the way that you surf skate. So the first thing that we're going to change on our board is our stance. So if you've watched other videos of me, you'll see that in my improper stance I would look something like this, where my feet are facing this way, and as a result my body is facing this way even though I'm surf skating this way. Okay? So to fix that, here's how we're going to stand on our board now. Instead of standing on our board like this, here's the first thing we're going to do. We're going to skate forward instead of this way, doing this kind of stuff like I've done in the past. We're going to shift our body. To do that, we're going to shift our feet. So I'm going to shift my feet from this to this. Now, watch what this does to my knee bend. In the past, when I'm like this and I'm going this way, I'm going to try to knee bend like this, and when I go around corners it means my arms are like this. Well, if I'm like this, watch what this knee bend does for me now. It's the difference between this low versus this low. So much of surf skating comes from that knee bend, and if you're able to just make that shift, now all of a sudden I've got a whole new range of motion that opens up to me simply by going from here to here. As we shift our feet, now we're also going to open up our hips to face in the direction, and as a result hips turn and so do our shoulders. Okay? So we shift our feet, now we're skating this way instead of that way. We're skating forward, and when you do your knee bend, you basically, surfers call it kind of a triangle, where you make a triangle with your legs like this. You basically almost want to feel that knee come into this other leg like so. Okay? Okay, so come over here now and practice this. Just move your feet from this. Now shift your stance like this. Alex, let me see you do it. Shift oh, you're this way. That's right. Yeah, gotcha. Okay. So you shift from there to there, and now practice your knee bend from here to here and feel that difference. Here to here. Feel that difference? Now the next thing we're going to learn is what to do with our arms. So in the past, you'll see that this back arm is back here doing a lot of wavy stuff. Quick, simple fix. Chris Mills in his Surfscape training program calls it coffee cup arm. And what he means is you hold that back arm, so for you that's going to be your right arm. For me, as a goofy footed rider, me and Dave, it's our left hand, and for you it's your right hand. But you want to imagine that you're holding a coffee cup in this hand and you can't spill it. So let me show you what that looks like in practice. So I got a coffee cup arm. Even if I do a turn, I'm not spilling that coffee, okay? I can even do a turn this way. I'm not spilling that coffee, okay? And to me, honestly, watching it on land, it looks a little bit awkward. But you find that if you train yourself to just really be rigid about that back arm, it's going to change everything for you, because automatically my body has shifted from this way to this way, and this is a huge part of our balance. When you're like this, you don't have as much balance. When you're like this, here's how we have our balance. And it's by getting that back arm in front of us and that coffee cup arm that creates your balance. So now instead of this, it's this. And you can feel the hips engage a lot more. When you change this stance, you will notice, you will feel these hips can engage a lot more. Okay? Look at that coffee cup arm. Now let me demonstrate what putting that back arm forward does to your balance. So imagine I'm surfing. First of all, I'm not going this way anymore, I'm going this way. Now, if my back arm's like this, I'm off balance. But if I put this arm forward, now I've got a lot of balance. This is my balance arm, and you can almost view this back arm as your steering arm. Wherever this arm goes, that's where you're gonna steer. But this completely shifts your balance. And let me just give you a little demonstration on this. Dave, come and push me over. If I'm facing this way, and Dave comes and stand right here and push me over. Okay? No balance, right?
Pretty easy.
Versus if I change my stance, now push me over.
Yeah.
See how that changes your balance? You're a lot more balanced, you're a lot more strong. Okay, now that we have learned our proper stance and posture, that is turning feet, knees, hips, shoulders, and we're skating forward and we're using our arms for balance ahead of us, and we're knee bending like this and not this. Now let's learn how this translates into improving your actual technical surf skate pump. In surfing, the pump comes from compression and extension of the knees, okay? It's the up and down. So it's the difference between this kind of more side to side swiveling action versus more up and down. We are doing some hip swiveling, but the hip swiveling is in conjunction with the extension and compression coming up and down. So we want less of this and we want more of this. Let me demonstrate this. So it's the difference between this, which works by the way, but it's just more efficient to do this. Coming up and down with my knees, and then I'm pushing back. You guys remember the principle I taught you? Imagine there's a stick attached to with your hand to your foot.
Yeah.
So when I come through on that pump, I reach this coffee cup arm and push that leg through. But you can see the compression and extension in the knees versus it being this more side to side action. See the difference? in technical surf form, again, to me it looks a little bit goofy on land when you really do it technical like the surfers do, but you can kind of modify it once you learn the technical form. But you'll see surfers actually lift this shoulder up, and you'll see their shoulders kind of at an angle, so they'll come through like this. It's almost like that swimming reach, right, that we talked about last time. But you'll see them come up like this. Now my knees are going down, and as I come up, that toe is pushing out to give me the pump action, along in conjunction with the hips turning. And here's how I kind of feel into it. I want you to do a circle with your hands. So just sit here like this, get in your proper stance, feet, knees forward, hips opened up, shoulders opened up. We're skating the way we're going. And I want you to just basically move your hands in a circle. Don't bring this hand back more than about right here. We never want this hand too far out this way, okay? Yeah. So we're keeping this back hand, and just basically do a circle with your hands, okay? Now here's how that's going to translate on a board. We're going to reach, compress, and extend. Compress, extend. I'm not bringing this arm back too far. We're reaching forward. And it's all in conjunction with the compression and the extension of the knees. Now feel into that with your hips. Push your foot back. Push your foot back. Foot back. There you go. There you go.
For me, it feels way more like rowing a boat. There we go, like a paddle board, something like that.
Okay.
It's like, boom.
Yes, perfect. Yeah. Love it. Now I'm going to show you how to add one motion to it. We're basically, this is not the technical motion, okay? I'm just teaching you a few things with that. We're learning to keep that arm up, and we're learning that what we really want to do, it's less about the hands and more about this shoulder. We want to be reaching forward with this shoulder. So you're going to add now to your hand circle, bigger shoulders coming up. Watch how this looks.
So still a circle, just more of a circle with your shoulders.
Yes, and also moving your hands more forward instead of like this. It's now we're reaching forward, like lifting the shoulders and reaching forward. Let me show you just another little technique or trick that you can do to learn this. Cale Brock in his program calls it like basically digging with a shovel and throwing it over your shoulder. So like so. So imagine I've got a shovel in my hands, digging into that ground, throwing it over my shoulder. All with the compression and extension of the knees and the hips moving at the same time. Focus more, Dave, on the up and down compression and extension with all of this. Because all of our upper body movements don't mean anything if it doesn't translate into the lower body up and down compression and extension. Okay, now I want to bring it all together with one kind of final technique. I've never heard a surfer teach this little trick, but for me it's just how I naturally intuit into the motions. I imagine I'm doing an infinity sign in the air with my hands. So let me show you this on camera. If I'm skating this way, knees, hips, shoulders. Now I do a infinity sign in the air, if you can see this. Let me demonstrate this on a board, show you what this looks like. So now you can see how this is timed with my compression and extension. What we're really trying to do here is I can stand on my board and be fairly stationary and do a little figure eight with my hands. I can do that. But what we're really looking for is what that figure eight motion does to our whole body.
Yeah.
Okay? So I come up like this, hips are up, I come down, knees come down, and now when I come up, I want you to put your hands forward like this, keep them forward. Now do this, keeping them together. No, keep your hands together. Keep your hands together. Now really exaggerate that, just to feel how it affects your body motions. Okay, now as a final piece of our puzzle, I want you to really feel into how the hips affect everything, because there are so many moving parts. It's kind of hard to teach, it's hard to break it down, and that's why I use like little tricks that I try to pick up that I don't hear from other coaches, that surfers may disagree with how I'm teaching it, but to me it works. To put it all together, we're learning all of this position, feet, knees, we're learning this up and down, compression, extension. We focused a lot on these upper arms and upper body and shoulder. Now I want you to really feel into how the hips are affecting everything that we're doing. And to demonstrate this, what I'm going to do is going to get in my, remember, skate forward with your arms forward position. And now I'm basically going to just kind of do everything with my hips, just so that I can feel the motion of it. So it's like I'm almost holding, everything's held stationary, my feet, and I'm going to do everything in my hips, facing forward and doing this little kind of snaky thing with my hips. When you reach forward, and I'm asking you to reach this arm forward and then bring the shoulder up, you are going like this, your arm, shoulders are even, versus like this. Big reach through.
Okay, yeah.
Drop down, come up. Okay. Like so. So it's the difference between this and this. Remember your circle hands.
Okay.
If you look at your hands, they're going like this.
Yeah, yeah.
I want your hands in a circle.
Okay.
In a circle reaching forward now. See, we learned this motion, but the real motion is more like this, out, forward.
Okay.
Okay, so you come up like this in your compression and extension.
Okay.
Like this. So to steer, instead of steering this way like we've done in the past, we're going to square everything up this way, and we're going to steer with our hands and our knees. So if I turn this way, I want to turn my knee inward. If I turn this way, my knee is coming this way. Okay? So let me demonstrate. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, face knees, hands, and this is how we're going to steer. Everything's steering forward. And now I want to practice my knee bends. So it's the difference between turning like this to the side, turn like this, versus a turn like this. Knees forward, hands forward. Okay, you see the difference in that turn? Let me do a front turn, same thing. It's the difference between facing this way and our hands out this way and going like this versus going like this. Facing the knees, bending that knee, hands forward, and steering with us. Everything's steering together. let's put it all together now. And I'm going to just basically kind of surf skate this parking garage here, and you can see what we're doing in slow motion. So feet and knees facing forward, my hands are forward. You feel how that changes the balance. On my turns, everything is turning together. I can come up like so, everything's turning together. Watch these knees. Now watch my knee bend. I can get a very deep knee bend like so, versus like this. Okay guys, let me put it all together now in fast motion. You can see it all in live action. Okay guys, final recap. First of all, we talk about our stance, and that is shifting from this way. If we're skating this way, we don't want our feet this way, we want to turn this way so that we can turn our knees and our hips and our shoulders to where we're skating. So we're going to skate forward, and then we're going to put this back arm in coffee cup arm position for balance. So we're going to skate forward with our arms forward, okay? Then to pump, it's compression and extension. It's less of this and more of this, but in conjunction with the upper body. So then we add that kind of big shoulder lift. We're putting both arms forward, and then we're compressing and extending like this. We're feeling into how the hips influence everything. So let's put it all together and skate this parking garage.
Let's do it.